Welcome to the online video portion of the summit. My name is Liz Griffin. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Blip. We're an online video company, currently the largest independently owned online video company in the world. We specialize in original web series, so we're a destination and distribution platform for those. We are going to get started with our first presenter. We have Scott Williford. He's the CEO and founder of V-Link Solutions.
Thank you, Liz. I am very excited to be here. We were at Digital Summit Atlanta last year, and it was an awesome opportunity, and didn't get a chance to speak. But this year, I'm especially happy to be here. For those of you who know me, you may know that I have 4 children, 3 daughters, 22, 19, and 16, and a son who is 15. And my 22-year-old graduated college last week and is getting married this weekend. And so I'm especially glad to be here to stay out of the line of fire. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about how video marketing can be integrated into your content marketing strategy. And this morning on the way in, I actually changed my presentation. I added this because when we think about content marketing, we often get images in our heads of how complicated it can be. And so this is an infographic that has a lot of moving parts. And in fact, content marketing can be very complicated. Just yesterday, we have a new employee who was here for the first time. And she said, there's a lot of things about analytics here. And it's true. We are very concerned about analytics when it comes to content marketing. But that's probably not the biggest concern that people have when it comes to content marketing. It really is about what type of content to create and creating engaging content. And so that's where I think video comes in. As most of us know, video marketing and video is 53 times more likely to be on the first page of search results. Now that's true if your videos are being found by search engines. But YouTube is now the second largest search engine. In a few seconds, you're going to hear from Yoel about how YouTube is helping companies. And of course, YouTube is now the 3rd most visited website. Marketers are embracing video. They're embracing it because it's 10 times more likely to engage your customers and they stay there longer. It's also 400 to 700% more likely to create conversions. I think the most interesting statistic that we pulled is from Forbes Insights, and that's where there are 75% of executives admit they're watching video. And especially for those of us in the room that are B2B marketers, that's a really big thing. And in fact, 50% of them are sharing it with other people. So we've all seen presentations where they've had some type of sales funnel, or they are telling you something about how content marketing is influencing the way people are buying or helping people buy. And I like to say that, it used to be that we had a lot of face time in our sales funnel. We spent a lot of time shaking hands, we got to know each other, we had a lot of time to communicate and build rapport. But with things like Google and Facebook and YouTube and webinars and visiting our website, we all know we're not hearing from our buyers until they're ready to buy. And so there's a less of an opportunity to get that face time that we used to get. But if you use video in the context of your content marketing, you are able to recapture some of that face time. So I have a short little video clip from a TED Talk, and I want you to watch it. It's 2 minutes long, and I think it will give you a good example of how much information you can actually pack inside 2 minutes. Of course, it's talking about video, so hopefully you'll also catch some other points out of it.
Video is high bandwidth for a reason. It packs a huge amount of data, and our brains are uniquely wired to decode it. Why do people like watching TED Talks? All those ideas are already out there in print. It's actually faster to read than to view. Why would someone bother? Well, obviously there's some showing as well as telling. But even leaving the screen out of it, there's still a lot more being transferred than just words. And it's in that nonverbal portion. There's some serious magic. Somewhere hidden in the physical gestures, the vocal cadence, the facial expressions, the eye contact, the passion, the kind of awkward British body language, the sense of how the audience are reacting. There are hundreds of subconscious clues that go to how well you will understand and whether you are inspired. Light, if you like, and desire. Incredibly, all of this can be communicated on just a few square inches of a screen. Reading and writing are actually relatively recent inventions. Face-to-face communication has been fine-tuned by millions of years of evolution. That's what's made it into this mysterious, powerful thing it is. Someone speaks, there's resonance in all these receiving brains, the whole group acts together. I mean, this is the connective tissue of the human superorganism in action. It's probably driven our culture for millennia. 500 years ago, it ran into a competitor with a lethal advantage. It's right here. Print, scaled. The world's ambitious innovators and influencers now could get their ideas to spread far and wide. And so, the art of the spoken word pretty much withered on the vine. But now, in the blink of an eye, the game has changed again. It's not too much to say that what Gutenberg did for writing, online video can now do for face-to-face communication. So that primal medium, which your brain is exquisitely wired for, that just went global.
So we're made for face-to-face communication. And as the speaker just said, we've been doing that for millennia. So how many of you guys believe what this speaker just said? So I see a pretty good show of hands. How many of you recognize this person? Of much fewer hands. So do you think he spoke from a position of authority? Yet none of you really knew him. Well, in fact, he does speak from a position of authority. His name is Chris Anderson. He's the curator for TED. And so he does have a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of authority when he speaks. But you believed him before you knew who he was. And so that's just an example of how powerful video can be when you're trying to create authority in your content marketing. So he ended his little talk there, little piece there, with it's a face-to-face communication, and that has gone global. So this is a face that many of you are going to recognize right away. You've watched this young man grow up, if you've watched any of the Olympics in the last 20 years, and you feel like you've gotten to know Michael Phelps. And here's another face from that same global stage that if you watch the Olympics at all, again, Gabby Douglas, the flying squirrel. You feel like you know her, but you've never met her. And it works for fictional characters. How many people know this person's name? What's his name? Jack Bauer? Is that his name? We've connected with a fictional character, Jack Bauer. His real name's Kiefer Sutherland. Or how about these guys? I don't know their real name, Sheldon and Leonard. The same thing. We connect with these faces and with these people, though they're not even real people. Businesses have learned this as well. Everybody feels like they know Steve Jobs, or knew Steve Jobs. And many of you in the room are Shiny Apple cult members, and you, in fact, mourned when he died, but you never met him. Does anybody recognize this person? How about if I show you her father? So when Wendy's was first launched, they had to fight against major brands, McDonald's. So they went after it by using Dave Thomas as their spokesperson, saying we're a family restaurant. Again, they put a face to the corporation. Those of you who are from Atlanta may recognize this person. He's the CEO of Delta. And every time you fly Delta, if there are televisions on the plane, he greets you and thanks you for flying Delta. So on online video, there's basically 3 types of video. Showcase video, which most of us have used, many of us have used. It's a very high cost per finished minute of video, $1,000, $1,500, $10,000, $30,000 per finished minute of video. Typically, we do a few of those. And then there's workhorse videos, customer testimonies, how-tos, video blogs, maybe some customer training videos. And then there's social videos, which has obviously grown dramatically with the advent smart devices that you can do a Vine video in a second and put it out on Twitter. But the growing need in content marketing is the workhorse video. And brands are demanding a higher quality of this type of video. So what I want to do in the next few minutes is kind of run through some tips and some things that you need to be considering when you're creating this content. Number one, no surprise, you need to define your audience. There's a lot of people out there on the internet, and you need to know who your target is, whatever type of content you're doing, and it's the same when you're dealing with video. Number two, you need to understand what types of videos you need to use and what the frequency of those videos are. So I have a couple of videos here. I'll turn the volume down just a tad on the videos. And these are just a couple of different types. So this video would be kind of your typical
We're
talking
different,
head
and we're very proud of that.
video blog.
It's an exciting culture. It's collaborative. We had the opportunity to develop
And
our company
they're very
out
effective.
of what we didn't want to be.
Or you might be doing some kind of product video, a product demonstration, where you're presenting how that product is different.
This video highlights the strength of ZEP Professional high
and
strength.
you're going to
adhesive.
try to define
It has a nice
your
web spray.
product
It bonds
compared
really well to
to other
laminate,
people.
wood, metal.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Prezi. Or you might want to use some kind of animations or an explainer video. It really just depends on how much time you have and what your budget is and how creative you really want to be. But you must figure out what the frequency of those videos are going to be and how many you're going to do, when you're going to do them in order to make it an effective video marketing campaign, and if you're going to effectively use it inside the context of your content marketing. The next thing, and this is the biggest mistake most people make, is they don't really plan through the process well enough. Now this next slide, you're not supposed to be able to read it. It's all Latin anyway. But even if you're just doing a simple storyboard and planning your shots and writing your script, it's kind of critical that you think about what you're going to do. Otherwise, the term "we'll fix it in production" will kill your budget, right? So you need to think through what you're going to do, and if you're doing content marketing or workhorse videos, you're going to do a lot of them, so the more you plan, the better off you are, and you'll get more bang for your buck. Obviously, visuals are very helpful. Using graphs, this graph in particular is from the Content Marketing Institute. I used a graph from them earlier and noticed that video is being used pretty quickly by B2B marketers. 70% of them are claiming they're using video now. So whatever you're doing, include some graphics and some interactive motion graphics inside your visuals inside your videos, and plan for it. Then produce your videos, whether you're getting it professionally done or you're doing it in-house, whether you're doing it in green screen or on site. Plan everything first before you ever start the production process. Because once it's produced, you have to put it out there. You're going to want to figure out how you're going to store it. Are you going to host it with one of the many video hosting platforms? Are you going to just put it on YouTube? Are you going to put it on Facebook, Vimeo? There are tons of choices, but think about what type of volume you're going to drive, what type of analytics you want, and then decide where you're going to host it. And then, of course, it's got to be playable across all modern internet devices. Otherwise, you're missing a huge amount of market. I saw a statistic not too long ago that the number of executives watching video on tablet PCs after 7 o'clock at night is like 30 or 40% of them. That's where they watch videos. They're sitting at their house, they have the TV going, they're watching a sports broadcast, and they're watching videos at the same time, multitasking. So you need to make sure your videos are going to play across all modern internet devices. Now, in a minute, you're going to hear some of the powerful reasons you should absolutely be including YouTube inside your video marketing distribution plan or your video content distribution plan. But that's not the only place. You're not just going to put it on your website and on YouTube. What about Twitter? Or what about Google, other Google Plus properties? Or LinkedIn? Or how are you going to connect it to Facebook? Or what about using it in email marketing campaigns? How can you do that effectively? And of course, there's events like this, so you need to think through, once I've spent the money to create this video digital asset, how am I going to use it? How am I going to maximize and repurpose that and plan that out and be smart about it? Because you can save a ton of money and get more conversions if you reuse it and if you think through that properly. Now, earlier I showed a statistic that said 53 times more likely to be on the search results if you have video. I would bet that 90% of the videos on web pages today are not being seen by Google because they're not tagged properly. That's a critical factor in making sure that your videos are out there. You want to make sure you're using video sitemaps, that you're using rich snippets. Make sure that your hosting platform supports those so that when you embed them in standard, that they're standard there. I had a client recently that came to us and had about 30 videos on his website, throughout all his website, and we just went in and ran a simple SEO tool and found out that none of his videos were getting seen by the search engines. And yet that's what his marketing agency told him he needed to be doing. The last thing is you need to monitor what you're doing. You want to analyze the reports, analyze the effectiveness of your videos, and make sure that you're able to adjust your strategy. Do A/B testing. You've probably heard that in a bunch of other things, but you should be doing that with videos as well. We have a client that receives anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 views a day on their videos on their website. And we have shot probably 12 different versions of that video to make sure we get the right one so that they watch the whole thing. Was it 2 minutes? Was it 1 minute? Was it 3 minutes? Was it 4 minutes? What the script was? What were the visuals we used? We tweaked all of that until we've got the mix that got the highest conversion rate. So at the beginning of this, I shared a quick little clip from Chris Anderson. And it's true. Video is high bandwidth for a reason. It's because our brains are uniquely wired to decode it. So I want to thank you very much for the time.
Great.
And I think I'm done.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you.
Okay, up next.